So I've been investing quite a bit of time lately making these bead rolled panels to finish off the back half of the Ranger. I know I've said it multiple times before on the channel, but the devil is always in the details, and the last like 10% of a project is 90% of the time. This is the first time I've ever made anything like this before, so I gotta take what I've learned on the driver's side and duplicate these two panels and make them on the passenger side. And I'm gonna bring you guys along for the ride. Full disclaimer, I'm just an idiot on the internet and I've never done this before these two panels. So don't take everything I say word for word. I'm definitely not claiming to be a professional by any means. I learned a lot on these and I'm just going to show you how I did it. Maybe you can learn something from that, or you could just laugh at my struggles and call me an idiot in the comments. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. Without further ado, let's jump over to the passenger side and get to work. I'm a very visual person, so it really helps me visualize a layout and figure out how everything is going to look first by kind of drawing it out or doing a template. The first thing that I do is draw out a line on the tube work where I want the panel edges to be. So this is gonna be different for everyone. I go with like a 50% on that tube. You could go a little bit over and then roll the edge over to where it kind of curves around the tube if you have those capabilities, but I just like it going right at the 50% line of that tube. But yeah, do whatever you wanna do. To help me do that, I really like using my laser level. It really helps me get good straight lines and I can just draw right through it. Obviously not all places you're gonna be able to get a level into, and this is just a cheapo from Harbor Freight, so it works. I'm gonna cheat and use the templates that I made on the other side and then just tweak them as I need to. But for you guys wondering at home how I did this is just ram board. I ordered it online on Amazon. You can get like a 50-foot roll. I think it was like $30 or $40. Get your edge that you have not cut with scissors or whatever and make that be your top line. This is the line that everyone's gonna see, so you want it to be nice, straight, flat, not all jagged from a cut or anything like that. So start with your template with the good line up on the top. Do yourself a favor, go on to Amazon or go to Harbor Freight or wherever, get yourself some of these spring clamps. They make this tremendously helpful to put these on here. We got our panels cut and notched out, clamped in position. The next part is the fun part for me, which is the bead rolling. The design I went with is I wanted it inset around where the tube work is on the back side. So it's kind of like if you look at the truck with the panels on, the bead roll mirrors the tube work on the inside of it. So you're kind of like seeing the tube work, but you're not seeing it. I don't know, something kind of like that. You need to look at your order of operations in terms of bead rolling and bending. So like this panel on the back, I have to put two bends in it because there's two different brakes on the cage work there. But if I put the brakes in it first, then I can't get it in the bead roller because my bead roller doesn't have a high throat. So that's what you got to consider before you start, either bending or bead rolling things, is that operation process. Another thing to consider is all of your fasteners. So I'm using the quick turn dzus fasteners that are countersunk into the surface with a dimple. That dimple does take up some room, so I have to have a certain edge distance offset from all of that I need to consider that. The good news is you can only look at one side of a truck at a time, so if I screw this up, no one's gonna ever know. I do 3 passes essentially, and I gradually increase the turn. Now again, this is 60-61, so I could put some force in this and it not deform and get all oil can or potato chippy. So that's one aspect of this being nice, but on the other hand, it does take a considerable amount of effort to get a step inside of this material like I want. Our 2 panels are bead rolled, and now this aft panel, I need to put the bends in it. So this center section, that's gonna be the primary face, and then this is kind of a flange, and that will bend, and this is the other flange, and that will bend as well. I actually do these on the bead roller, and it works out really nice. This upper die is a 7/8 roll. It's a Nylotron. This is also from Mittler Bros. This is not made for this machine. It's mounted backwards technically, but it works for this application. And this gives us a nice rounded break whenever I do this. And then the lower piece is like this rubber wheel from Eastwood for their die kit. You just put a little bit of downward pressure with this, with the crank, and then as it goes in, you just bend it up. You put pressure upwards on the side that you want it to bend, and it will form around this. Now it takes multiple passes through there, and it's very gradual. So it does take a little bit of kind of a guess and check method to do this. Except now we start adding a little bit of pressure to it. And again, it's very gradual. It's not gonna be a one and done type situation. So you see just after one pass, you probably can't even see that, there's just a slight bend in it with the pressure pass I just did. It's a little bit more pronounced. And there you can see the bend, and it's just got a very slight radius on it. And this back one doesn't really take much of a bend. I think I'm just gonna do just a little tiny bit more, and then that will be good. One of the last steps on these panels is putting a just slight edge on about the last 3/8 of the border of this panel. I have an Eastwood radius die on here, and then the rubber wheel again. And basically I just feed it through, and like I said, about the last 3/8 of the border, and just put a slight little bevel on it so it kind of curves onto the tube and just makes a nice seam whenever it's mounted up. These little tabs, but it's just a real slight, I don't know if that's on focus, just a real slight bend on the panel. That's it for this episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. So I learned a lot, and I'm excited to get to do something like that again and keep improving that process. And it looks killer. Like, I love how it looks. Yes, the bedside will cover this up whenever it's installed, but the bedside's gonna be removable. So if I'm out on the trail, I could pop them off so I don't destroy the fiberglass. Or for maintenance, I could pop them off. So this is just gonna be a nice polished, clean look. Keep a lot of crap out from the interior tube work. And yeah, it looks killer. I'm super happy with it. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me in the shop today. And until next time, stay reckless.